Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Train Man, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with the one and only Kerbal Star Station on this save. If you may or may not notice, last time we were here, this was not here. This is actually brand new. Or it's not brand new, the design of course is not. But it's... I just brought it up here so that we'd have some extra fuel. Just kicking around. Because we're going to take something to Mun today. Well, first we have to take the other rover there. Although I probably should do that off camera because it's boring, and we've done it before. But something I want to do is start establishing a Mun base. And in order to do that, we need a Rockomax hub. At least that's how I see it. So, what I'm doing right now... Actually, I have no idea if you can see this or not because it's appearing in front of whatever. But I know you can see that. Where is... Oh, I need to go into... Program Files, and then Steam, I think should be down here. I don't do this very often, so it gets a little bit confusing. No, I'm sorry. Not that. Steam apps. Common. What game are we in? Kerbal Space Program. Saves. We need to go into Jesus Rollerblading Christ and get the Lunar Recovery Unit with hub. And we can put that back in here. Alright, let's go get it. Let's go back to the Space Center because we got our thing all set on Mun. Vehicle assembly building. Come on, you. Alrighty then. This is the refueler ship. Now, if I jump over to the Lunar Recovery Unit with hub, it's actually one of the more parts-intensive things I've built. Except for some of the really big rockets from my old save. It has these drop tanks. Apparently a hub is pretty damn heavy though. Because I had to use my transit stage, or my lander stage, in order to get into lunar orbit. But once we get ourselves set up in lunar orbit, we'll be all copacetic for what we need to do. What am I looking for? Rockomax hub. Yeah, it weighs 1.5 tons. Holy cow. Didn't realize that. How much did each of the individual docking ports weigh? They're in here. Okay, not much at all. But the hub still weighs a heck of a lot. I'm gonna take these guys off because they're completely useless. The way I attach them. I was hoping to have this thing spin off somewhere, like just fly away. But when you detach this, it no longer becomes like a collidable object, and the Sepatrons don't fire. They just kind of drift off into space on their own. So we have to get this thing to Mun, which is gonna be a pain. I think the staging is all set. It should be. Also, this has a crew member in it. One of the issues I was having when I was doing this before is I had to put a person in here in order to just run everything well, because I had to have a guy transfer into a dead ship, which I'll actually show you come the end of the episode. I'll show you my whole operation in the other world, which is essentially what we're doing here, except we don't have to go dock with a deceased lander that's sitting in orbit. Let's head on out to the launch pad, shall we? I feel like launches, or at least the act of launching, is exciting. so it is not a bad idea to include one in episodes. I mean, of course I have to do something, not fly around and be like, hey, this is what I did. But, launching something is a good way to have something get done. If I remember correctly, I did not dock this guy before my transit, although I took a refueler to this, which I'll probably do at some point, and that I did dock in transit. At the refueling station, filled it up, and then launched from there, and went from there to Mun. Laggy rocket, because we have 200 and some odd parts, 281 I think. You can go back in the video and check. Point is, it's a very complex rocket. Complex not meaning specifically complicated, just it has a lot of parts. We're about to lose 12 of them in a little while, not too long. Gotta try and keep the speaking going so that you don't get bored watching this rocket ascend. And I put lights on this, which is one of the things that I'm very proud of, because I remembered to put lights on it. I believe Kurt had said in one of his videos he should have a checklist of things he needs to put on a rocket, and I completely concur with that, and I probably should do the same thing, because I almost never put rockets on mine. And then I curse myself later because I don't have any way to see what I'm doing. I mean, lights are especially important on landers if you're coming down at night. It's a lot of liquid fuel, people. Once we drop a lot of this stuff, especially with these struts around to keep this top part from snapping off, I had a lot of that. I actually had far too many problems where the rocket would break in the middle, either like in the main fuel tank it would break here, it would break here, it would break up here, and then I'd just be stuck with the lander. A few times I did manage to survive the landing. It has 4 parachutes, and oh wait, no, I think I changed it to 8. I put a lot of parachutes on it. No, it looks like just 4 to me. It has 4, and then I would deploy, or I'd fire the rockets as I was landing in order to slow us down. So we're at 20,000. I think I'm going to begin a tip towards the Mun. That's not the right way, is it? No, it's the right way. I'm sorry. Right? Yeah, I'm going the right way. Okay. Not worrying. This thing, the advantage of this guy is it lags so much that you feel like you're going a lot slower than you actually are, and you get to a good orbital altitude relatively quickly. So I'm going to cut the engines now, because what I need to happen... See there, we got to a great orbital altitude. This is a tricky part, because if you screw it up, you can end up snapping your engine off. So I'm going to detach, and then I'm just going to give us a little bit of thrust and turn it off there, because we're going to come basically floating out from these guys. I mean, I could twist and knock them around a little bit, and I wouldn't damage my rocket. I've done it before. But I don't want to risk it, because risking sometimes ends in disaster. And of course, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes things that don't even seem risky at all end in disaster. For example, or well, it didn't end in disaster, so it's not precisely a good example. But I was playing XCOM the other day, and my sniper missed a 96% shot. And it wasn't critical, so I wasn't like, no, but I was like, How did you miss that? You're terrible. And you know, I demeaned him and he felt bad, so it's alright, because he felt bad. Oh, and there it goes. Son of a gun. I should have, Nope, everything's falling apart now. Okay, hold on. That's an issue. Well, I'm just gonna go and, yeah. Hey guys, we're back. I scraped my way into orbit. You know what, I shouldn't say we're back when it was an immediate cut. Okay, time to drop that. Okay, I'm sorry. I meant to say I am on my way to scraping my way into orbit. Now I just have this stage, which is not supposed to be the one getting us into orbit, but it'll do. Let's... Alright, we're going on. We have scrapeth our wayeth into orbiteth. Alright, that's a solid orbit there. Still have a decent amount of fuel in the drop tanks. Not gonna drop tanks early. Bad idea. We've learned. Add a maneuver. Oh. No, it's not the kind of orbit I need. I need one of the ones that does a little loopy-loop. Also in a minute and whatever for a burn is a little too much. Don't need to waste fuel on this trip. Ah. Oh, wait. I'll be orbiting. I don't actually know which way I'm orbiting in the other save. But I assume it's clockwise. No, it might be counterclockwise. Hold on, I actually have something to get a reference off of. Anyways. Let me just... What direction is this thing going? Alright, it's going clockwise. I need to make a thingy, so I'm going around the moon clockwise. Not set as ab maneuver. Right, go, 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 go. No, I screwed that up because I was looking at it at an angle. Whoa! What did I just click on? Damn it, not the station. Son of a gun. Okay. Put that at 12 o'clock. Hit it at the apoapsis. Yeah, that's the kind of orbit I normally aim for because... No, I guess I'm going... Okay, that thing was going clockwise. So yeah, no, this is what I'm looking for. Whoa, that's a little close to the surface. 49,000 is still a little close. Okay, 130 I'm okay with. Now we just gotta wait until our burn. I'm gonna make a quick save here just in case our rocket snaps in half. And I can assume our burn is going to be something like 2 minutes. Or maybe a little less than that, minute and a half. I'm going to start at the... If I can, I'm going to start at the T-minus 50 seconds mark. And our orbit does not go above 1,200, or 120,000, I mean. So we're going to be sitting at 50,000 for our time warp. You know, sometimes I wish they had a time warp faster than 100,000 because I have a probe ship that's trying desperately to get to Joule, and it's on the backswing of its orbit, and it's stuck way at the apoapsis around the sun. I wasn't paying attention, but let's do this burn. But it's going incredibly slow. It's just agonizing to sit there and wait for it. So I've been doing other missions and just checking back on it occasionally to see if enough time has passed that it gets caught in Joule's gravity, because then I start speeding up and I can start slowing it down. It's the probe ship Mark III, which if we ever go to Joule in this save, I'm probably going to use it because it's a very dependable ship. I like it. And it's good at checking out multiple things that are very close to one another. So we're halfway through our burn. Have we used up all the fuel in the drop tanks yet? Almost. 3, 2, 1, 0. 5 drop tanks. This guy's gonna be in orbit for a long time. By a long time, I mean forever. I wonder if there's like, you know, 0.01 fuel left in those guys, because it actually looked like there was. Alright, how are we doing? Not quite there. Whoa. Alright, well, obviously it's not good enough, so I'm just gonna keep doing a little bit of a burn until we get caught in its gravity. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. Not reading a periapsis off that. That could be an issue. In fact, the fact that it has no periapsis worries me greatly. Because that means that we're too close to have a periapsis. And if we're too close to have a periapsis, that means we're going to be having a happy date with the lunar surface, just like our last rocket. So I'm just going to really, really try and be careful with my burn here, as not to waste any fuel, but also not to slam into the moon. No, apparently it just doesn't want to give us our thing. You know what, I'll try another burn here. Ah, there we go. Whoa, hey. It's about 100,000. So the burn is going to be 1 second, and we're doing it in an hour. Just going to cut the recording, wait an hour, and then burn. Just kidding, time skip. Time warp. Not time skip. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. So, in regards to what we're doing, also, actually, backtrack. Something I should talk about. Someone suggested a mission to Eve. I haven't been to Eve before. Well, I've set a probe in orbit around Eve, and I think I have a screenshot of it somewhere, because it was on the old save. But, I think I have one on the new save as well. I'm not sure. It was probably one of the Saturn II ones, because they were pretty good rockets. for doing random stuff with. I'm not sure. I put probes around a bunch of stuff very early in my save, but those were, basically, I'm considering those kind of a wash for learning what I was doing, because I wasn't quite sure what I was doing in the early days of that save file. Also, something I learned from just trial and error, when you have a ship, just for the love of God, put a radioisotope generator on it. Because you don't want to have to remember to extend solar panels, and then if you don't, you're effed, because you don't have any, well, if you don't have any power, you can't open the solar panels. So basically, if you run out of power, you're screwed. That's it. You're done. There's nothing that can be done for you other than if someone docks with you and juices you up, which I have a story relating to that. But back to the Eve thing. Never been to Eve. Never landed on it, I mean. I understand that it has a very thick atmosphere like Venus, because it's Kerbin's Venus surrogate. Where we have Venus, Kerbin has Eve. Which is alright, it's cool. Hey. Went too far. Yeah, I did. Alright, well, let's hit that as soon as I can. Because the earlier I do it, the more room I'm going to have in terms of a periapsis. And the less orbit adjustment I'm going to have to do, and the less I'm going to have to worry. Okay, so back to the Eve subject. I'm probably going to need a lander. Or not need. I could always use a conventional lander, where I just use engines to slow me down. There we go. But I think it would be advantageous to use a lander where the engines do nothing on the way down and use parachutes, just like a Kerbin re-entry. Of course, I could use engines to slow me down if need be. Oh yeah, right, 8 parachutes. I forgot I put these 4 on. These 4 plus these guys on the top. So that slows us down quite a bit, and I use the engines if possible. But that means I'd be able to use all of my engine power for getting back off of Eve. Which suddenly makes me think, I'm not sure what the gravity of Eve is, but if it's substantial, would we not need the same amount of pushing power? This is just something I've been thinking of. We have rockets that take quite a bit of oomph to get off of Kerbin soil and into orbit, and that's even just into orbit of Kerbin, not like going to another planet. So we need exponentially more than that in order to, I'm going the wrong way. Oh well, I guess we're going to be going in the opposite direction of the probe. And I guess it's easier to notice those backflip orbits. I just dubbed them backflip orbits. If we were to find, I'm sure that there will be a resources update. I'm pretty sure that has been said, that there will be something of that type coming in the future. Like some sort of mining shenanigans on other planets. And with that, I was thinking you could eventually, this is what I hope will be in the game in the future, being able to construct spaceports in places like the Vehicle Assembly Building on other planets. You know, whatever. Perhaps in the future, something like career mode will become more to my taste than sandbox mode, because then you actually have to achieve something in order to land on another planet. Or maybe even sandbox mode, you'll have to get to that planet first. I don't know. or maybe after you this is my suggestion. After you beat career mode, you get a mode that's like sandbox mode where you don't have any objectives, but you still have to worry about money and mining up the resources to get fuel and things of that sort. So it is more progression based instead of screw around based. Because I mean, this is even sandbox mode and we don't have God commands by default, which is good. But I'm just pointing out that it's quasi sandbox mode, I'll say. That's not a bad thing, by the way. That's a good thing. It's tough to get into a game where you can do anything from the start because you're just not sure what to do with it. So I feel like there should be... I don't want to have to role-play out that stuff. It just, like, in my own head, giving myself restrictions. I think it's much more effective for the game to employ those kind of mechanics. I mean, it's like stuff like cops and robbers or whatever in Minecraft or like the teacher thing in Halo, whatever, all sorts of things that generally you need people to pay attention and abide by the rules in order for them to work correctly. I don't want to have to be forced into, wow, my thing's crooked. Or is that crooked? They're both crooked. For now, they'll stay crooked because I don't have anything to judge them by. But we got this thing to Mun today. And we didn't actually use the, lander stage in order to get into a good position, which is good. Alright, there we go. That's that. Let's check on our debris count. We have 45 bits of debris. A lot of it is just on in that spot on the moon. But these guys are the recovery unit ship debris. These are the things that we left at the launch pad. And then, of course, we just have stuff stuck in elliptical orbits around Kerbin. I am waiting for the day where I get one of my ships demolished by a random piece of debris, because I think that would be amazing. Just for the realism side of it. I mean, of course, you'd be like, no, but honestly, it'd be awesome. Also, I'm thinking of, I mean, reverting flights is great, and it's helpful, but I was thinking of trying to save a flight, if at all possible, instead of reverting, so that we don't have any situations where we screw up. And I know I broke that this episode, but from this episode on, I'm not going to revert flight unless I do something really stupid, like screw up the staging and the launch pad. But, I hit quit, but I'm not actually quitting. I just want to show you guys something and tell you a story. And of course, you can tune yourself out at this point. I don't really care. This is for the people that care about what I do in my single-player world. Yeah. Alright, hold on a sec. Just let this guy load up, and then we're gonna pop over to the observation station thingy. Observation station. It's your fashion. Alright, so we have all sorts of crap in orbit. Probe dispersal unit, whatever. Let me just point out something for a minute. I left a crap ton of stuff in orbit. There was a lot more before, and I managed to get rid of most of it. Some of the other stuff is... Oh yeah, this is stuff that was in Jool orbit, and it got flicked away by its moons. And if I can show you... Oh, PDU-3 has been captured by Jool. Okay, I need to keep an eye on... I need to go get that in a second. I will go do that right after I cut recording. But there's something I have to show you. Which is... Oh wait, no. I got PDU-3 into Jool orbit last time I was playing, I think. I'll go check on it, though. I'll do it on camera. Here's the Lunar Recovery Unit. It is a station. And for now, it is... what remains of things that I've brought. It had another lander. It had a Lunar Recovery Unit lander, a second one attached to it, but I brought that one down to the surface because I made them on this save to basically do a shakedown. I could go find the one on the surface if I really wanted to, but I don't feel like it. This is an old Minecraft 2. You should recognize this because we landed it on Mun. This guy, however, does not have the advantage of me remembering to put on solar panels or any other sort of electrical generation device. So it wasn't out of RCS, but it was out of fuel, out of power, and had no crew. Of course that's different now. I think it has somebody in there. It has Cannoli, I think. But originally, this guy was, oh, okay, he got filled up. This guy should have some stuff missing. Originally it was just this guy attached directly to this, which was tumbling in space, and I had to go and catch up with it and find it. You see how much mono-repellent I used. Just catching up to it, getting in the right spot, nudging it so that it would stop tumbling end over end, and then eventually docking with it. And then I brought in a second ship with the hub, and I docked everything together. And then I brought in this guy, which was actually a real pain to get here. Let's see if I can find... there should be some debris. I have a lot of debris in this world. Here it is. Don't know why I'm showing you debris just by itself, but I use these engines. These are like the stage 2 engines, if that makes any sense, if you guys understand what I'm saying. The stage 2 engines are the one right before the main capsule, so to speak. I use these all the way here, but I had to dock at the Kerbin station and get fuel. Also, let me show you my landing site, if you will. This is kind of... it's very similar. You may recognize some of the things here. One of which is... whoa, that's not so... okay. One of which is this guy, which is the old Rover Delivery Mark II. We have the Crap Rover, we have a flag, we have Bobrick and Dugan in the cockpit. This is Minecraft 1 and 2 Remembrance for all the people that died on coming back to Kerbin. This is, that's the Minecraft 2 rover that was ejected from the derelict pod when I had to abandon the landing. In fact, it's the same pod that's now attached to the station. What's the other thing I'm looking at? This guy. This was the result of a test landing, and it was a successful test landing. The only thing I have yet to test is bringing it back to Kerbin and safe re-entry. I mean, re-entry should be all fine and dandy. But we have a good amount of fuel, we have a good amount of RCS, so that we can always go back to the station en route, either of the stations, and get fuel enough to make a safe landing. And Rexor is piloting. Don't think there's anyone in here. We have the 8 parachutes on this one because it's a refined design. But yeah, this guy is supposed to be a high capacity lander where I could land at a site, pick up all the people that are there, and then leave with said people, and take them all back to Kerbin at once. It's because it's got a capacity for 4. I like the high capacity stuff. Although, whoever I bring to Eve, it's probably going to be 1 soul. Also, I want to make as much of my stuff Kerbal, sorry, couldn't think of the word. Kerbal piloted as possible. Just because I think it brings a more human element into things, or a more Kerbal element. Let's go check out the Joule system. This is the mess I made. You can see Joule's moons, and then we have all these probes from the original probe dispersal unit, which is still sitting out here. I don't think it has any fuel in it. This was the original one. This is not as good as the new ones. It's very dated. The design is old. It still has the Stay Putnik thing on it, and it has an LV-45 as an engine. But it carried the same amount of probes as the new one does, and it was engineered to survive. The PDU-2 barely even made it here, and then it got thrown off by one of Jules' moons. PDU-3, let's zoom in on it. This is the PDU-3 with all of its probes still on board. We have yet to send them off to any of these planets, but I have got it at a perfectly good orbit, and I intend to use it to send probes around all the moons. As you can see, the newer version is powered by 3 LVNs. It has this as a setup for the command module instead of the Stay Putnik. These are the probes. They're virtually identical to the old ones, except they have an extra solar panel on them. They actually have Sepatrons for extra fuel, because they can detach, point in a direction, fire the solid fuels, and then use the liquid fuel engine afterwards to adjust their trajectory. And if I really wanted to, I could actually... I've set the staging up so that I could just disperse the probe by jamming on the spacebar, and I would launch all 8 of them within a few seconds. This launches the first 4 and then the second 4. It would just make a giant mess, but it was originally what this thing was intended to do. The probe dispersal units were supposed to be just that. They were supposed to fly directly at a planet and launch probes before crashing into the surface, and then the probes themselves would end up in orbit. But I stuck with this design instead. Also, if you see these beams, it's because I had intermediary stage engines with extra fuel tanks, and the way the fuel just gets wrapped around is kind of unusual. When we use this ship, I'll show you, but I need to, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and design something to go land on Eve. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this peek into single-player world, and me wondering what we're going to do next. Because I have that thing in orbit, I just need to have something dock with it in order to make it persistent, I guess. To make it something that I can use often. I need to get something up there to dock with the hub. It's probably more likely than not it's going to be one of the refueling ships, which is going to be a mission and a half. I think I'll record that. And then we can bring the lander down, recover all the people if we need to, and leave. We need to get the rover there too, so I'll do that at some point. And then we're going to Eve. That's our next big project, once we're done on Mun. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and Trainman out.